how important is it that your immediate family knows whether or not you're an atheist? I was raised in a Catholic household, and I know for a fact that my grandparents would definitely not be okay with it. And I'm kind of on the fence about whether or not my parents would be.
Okay. Is there some reason you need to tell them?
Well, okay, so I've avoided telling them strictly because I wanted to try to keep the peace.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I mean,
like, Catholic Church has confirmation, so I got confirmed to keep the peace, even though I was on the fence about whether or not I believed at the time.
yeah.
Okay.
And I was about 14 then, and it's just been a slow progression ever since then, and I've come to the conclusion that I don't believe in God.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the advice we usually give people is don't do anything that's going to compromise your safety. So if you feel like your safety is at risk, then you shouldn't. If it's that there's some major event, like a lot of people end up coming out as atheists when they have a child and somebody in the child wants, or somebody in the family wants the child baptized, or, you know, there's some religious ritual that they want the parents to participate in, and, you know, that's sort of an obvious point where you say, hey, no, we don't believe this. So there's that, but I mean, absent that, if you are not living in their house, not subject to their rules, you know, they don't contribute financially to your livelihood or anything, you know, you could come out, and one of the things that you have to assess for yourself is what's the risk of that? You know, what can I potentially lose out of this? And
Right.
potentially you could lose the relationship with your parents. And then,
Right.
and then the other question is being open with them about this worth the potential loss of that relationship? You know, and if it's not, then you don't come out. You know, if it
Okay.
is, then yeah, you do.
I feel like it's a real point of contention for a lot of atheists if they are raised in a religious household. And I don't know, I also have a lot of more distant family that is very religious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was talking on the phone with my uncle today, and he told me he's going to the Creation Museum.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
And he's so excited about that, and it kind of breaks my heart because I feel like he's just being misled, and it's not good for him.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of relatives who are they're religious to varying degrees, and we mostly don't talk about my religious beliefs, and that's okay with me. If they ask, I'm happy to have that discussion with them, and we can do it in a respectful way that, you know, it doesn't attack them personally. But, you know, if they decide that they can't have anything to do with me because of my disbelief, then I'm fine with that, you know? It's like, you know, it's not like I'm not actively seeking to sever ties with them. But if they make that decision, I'm not going to go fetal and say, oh, I can't cope because, you know, cousin Sylvester won't talk to me anymore, you know. And I don't have a cousin
Right.
Sylvester. But
I was going to ask about that. But yeah, it's kind of going off of what I just said, poor Sylvester. But for me, it wasn't so much that, you know, I had to go, you know, sit the family down, you know, in the kitchen, you know, I got something to say, and, you know, I'm a non-believer. Like, it was nothing along those lines. It wasn't so important to me that I had to take it on that, because I knew that, you know, some people would have bad reactions or whatever else, and so I took a more laid-back approach to it, kind of what Jen was saying. It's not something that's discussed. It's something that's known, because if you're on my Facebook, it's very difficult not to know it. It's very difficult to miss all of those atheist volunteer events that get posted on there all the time. And so it's very well known, but it's not talked about. It's not something that hinders our relationship in that way. Now, if a discussion starts happening about something religious, and somebody jumps in, oh, that good Jesus, or whatever else that goes on, which may come up. I don't feel offended. I understand that they believe, and I do my own thing. So I'll eat or drink or whatever else that I'm doing and still enjoy myself as they have their own shindig. When we pray together over meals, as we do on both sides of the family, I will hold hands because that's to me, that's something we've always done. But as far as the praying is concerned, I don't bow my head. I don't close my eyes. I just look around and look at all the kids that are looking around at me and wondering what's going on and why we're not eating yet. And so, because I remember those days. And so I just get to kind of look around on that side. But it's not this odious cloud that's just sitting over us the whole time. It's never been about that for me. Some people, it is important for them to come out, but it all depends on your situation and how, as Jen mentioned, how big of a risk are you willing to take on that? You know your family better than we do, and you're the best. You're in the best position to be able to evaluate what may happen. But it's not to say that it will be that bad. I mean, when I came out as gay, I thought that it would be a lot worse, and it wasn't anywhere near as bad as what I thought it could have been. But I was still prepared to take that leap if I needed to.
Well, and I would argue that, coming out as atheist is not actually quite the same as coming out as gay.
Sure.
Coming out as gay for me was not even an option. Not coming out was not an option. At some point it was going to have to happen, because if you're bringing, if I'm bringing women home,
at some point a question will be
people
asked.
are saying, hey, and frankly, I think I've told this story before, but when I actually came out to my family, we were sitting around the dinner table, and it literally did not stop dinner conversation. It was, oh, by the way, you guys know I'm a lesbian, right? And they're like, yeah, we know. Pointing at the roll in the basket. It's like, it was one of those, everybody knew. And I think people pick up on the cues that you're an atheist. And so, like Phil was saying, it's probably not one of those where you got to sit the family down and have that conversation in the open.
Gotcha.
And then, you can also, you probably have an idea of who's kind of more open to the idea than others in the family. And you can, at some point, kind of broach that subject gradually with other more open-minded members of the family. So that if you end up having to come out to somebody suddenly, super religious, Baptist Uncle Ray is going on about that good Jesus, at the family picnic, and you finally decide you've had enough of him, it won't be such a shock to everybody else,
Right.
My experience on that.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to be your. I had a feeling that was going to be your answer, and I just wanted to make sure because that there was a sub thought that not telling them would be being dishonest with myself.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't look at it that way.
Yeah.
At all. You said you're an atheist. You identify as an atheist. I'm not a bad atheist because I don't walk around, telling people random on the street, I'm an atheist, right? As you're just walking down out the 7-Eleven, like, hey, I'm an atheist, and I'm just letting you know. As you're walking, it doesn't make me a bad atheist. It's not that I'm being untrue to myself. It's just I don't know this random Joe outside. That's 3 names we've made up so far.
Yeah.
just tacking them on here. But I don't see it in that way. And I can't tell you how to feel. There's only so much. I can only relate to you my experience on that side, but I don't see myself as being dishonest with my family. There are some people that don't know, that are not on Facebook, that you know, may not know that I'm gay, which is still a thing in,
Oh.
in pockets, and some that don't know that I'm an atheist, and I don't see it as my obligation to make sure that they know, because it's, if they find out, cool. If not, cool. Like, we'll still get on with our lives. But if they try to like set me up with a young lady, and I'll just be like, so we need to have a talk as to why this won't work.
Fair
but
enough.
yeah, I don't see it in that frame of mind, but I don't know. So I hope you can work that out.
Yeah. I really appreciate your time, guys. I've been listening for probably like 3 or 4 months, and I really, really enjoyed the show.
Well, thanks.
Cool. I'm glad.
Well, thanks for your call.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, bye.
Wow.
Yeah, family issues are always kind of like the most fraught time for people, I think, when they, you know, after they get past the whole losing their religion part, and they start to shed the baggage, and the family thing is a big deal. And it should be a big deal, because you don't want to lose your family.
Right, right.
And
in most cases.
You know, yeah, I mean, there's always situations where it's like, okay, if this person is gone from my life, I don't care.
It's fine.
Yeah, and I mean, especially if your family's being abusive toward you, if they are, you know, telling you you're going to hell, or if they are trying to drag you to church even though you told them, hey, I'm not doing this, or something like that. You don't have to put up with that crap. If your family's not behaving like family, they are not family. You know, you don't owe them any allegiance just because you have, you know, some DNA that you share.
Right. You know, you make the family that you want to keep. That's
Right.
my philosophy on that side. And even though I don't bring up religion, like that's not a topic that's broached, but if there was something like what you mentioned, like, oh, well, you know, if you come here, you're gonna have to go to this function here at church or whatever else. And if it ever got to that point, then there would be another discussion that needed to be had. But it's never been anything like that. It hasn't been any real overstepping of boundaries on that side. And everyone's fairly respectful. It's just the same thing about me being gay. It's just not talked about
Yeah.
on that side. So it just rolls in the same vein.
Yeah.